Welcome to the Wealth Mindset with JD Garnier. First of all, happy 2025 to everybody. If you're watching this, I really hope that you're as optimistic as I am about this year, not for any other reason than the fact that we're here and God has already given us everything that we need to be successful. So if you have your health and your strength, it's time to get it. So whatever you've been waiting on, whatever you've been procrastinating about, whatever you have been fearful about doing, I am here to tell you that nobody's going to write your book. Nobody's going to start your business. Nobody's going to tell your story. It's on you. You are the wealth. Period. It's not your real estate. It's not your investments. It's not your business. Those things provide wealth, but you are the source of the execution. And before you have any of those things, God has already blessed you with a unique set of talents, abilities, gifts, ideas, habits, disciplines, and inclinations that form the basis of everything that you do in life. And once you tap into that, it's game over. And so the one thing that I'm extremely happy and proud to announce this year is that I just completed my second book, The Art of Diversity Selling: How to Transcend Societal Differences and Do Business with Anybody. And the reason why I'm excited about this book is because it is truly my professional story. Every experience, every failure, every success, every opportunity, every mistake, every strategy I've ever used, I put in this book. And if you're a minority and you work in corporate America, I don't care if you're an accountant, a lawyer, a real estate agent, a financial advisor, a banker, whatever it is that you do, when you go into your office every day, you are probably playing psychological warfare. If you're trying to pursue your goals, pursue your dreams, live out the professional life or whatever path that you've chosen, you are constantly fighting psychological battles with people that you have no idea whether or not they have your best interests. And you know, there's a saying that I love. It says that war is politics with bloodshed, but politics is war without bloodshed. And that's relevant to me in business because you're constantly at war. There's no bloodshed, but you're at war with personalities, with relationships, with office politics, and the ambitions of other people. And in order for you to be successful in this environment, you have to know who you are. Now, my book takes you on my personal journey in my professional life in the discovery of who I am. From when I had nothing, not a single client, no money, no evidence of success, to a $200 million wealth management practice and national recognition. In addition to that, I have over 50 ideas, strategies, and tactics to help you thrive in your business or profession. And so I am so excited to share this with you. You can pre-order my book now on my website, jdgarnier.com. And so as I think about this year and what I want for myself, it all centers around my mentality, my mindset, the wealth mindset. And so I wanted to just take a few minutes and talk to you about what that really is, because so many people think about what they have to do to be successful. And before you can do any of those things, you have to consider how you think. The wealth mindset is a specific way that you need to think to attract and acquire and obtain wealth in your life. And it consists of three things: sacrifice, risk, and patience. So first, let's talk about sacrifice. You cannot keep the life that you have and get the life that you want. You can't keep the habits that you have and get the results that you want. You cannot keep the decisions that you are making and get the outcomes that you want. You have to be willing to sacrifice. And that's true whether it comes to your finances, whether it comes to your health, or whether it comes to your relationships. You have to give up something to get something. Nothing is free. You have to sacrifice the temporary for the permanent. You have to be willing to give up the liabilities for the assets. You have to be willing to give up the pleasure for the purpose. A lot of people don't want to hear that. But you can't show me one successful person that has achieved anything of value that has not sacrificed or given up something. Habits, relationships, personal pleasures, comforts. You have to give something up. If you want that body you want, guess what? You got to give up that food that you love. If you want that career that you've been dreaming about, you have to give up the personal pleasures of sitting at home watching television or going out every week. If you want the financial status that you see everybody that you envy acquire, you have to be willing to give up the time that it takes to get the skills to get that money. You have to be willing to sacrifice. And I see so many people that want success. They want it, but they're not willing to give up the things that give them comfort. They're not willing to give up the things that give them the personal temporary satisfaction. And when you're not willing to do that, you're not going to see the results on the other end. You have to be willing to come out of that comfort zone and sacrifice. It hurts to go to the gym 5 days a week. That is a sacrifice of your time, of your energy, of your efforts. But the results are the body that's going to carry you into your 80s and 90s. It is difficult not to eat that chocolate cake or not to eat all of these things that you crave. But if you want the body that you desire, you got to give up that food. The same thing applies to your money and your wealth. If you truly want to acquire wealth, you're going to have to sacrifice the things that are preventing that from happening. You're going to have to sacrifice the things that are taking your time, your attention, your energy, and your talent somewhere else. If you cannot sacrifice, you will never, ever have wealth in your life. And so you have to have a mindset that that's just expected. When I go and work out with people in the gym, and I can tell that they've never really worked out before. They complaining about the time. They complaining about the how heavy the weights are. They complaining about all of these things because their body is outside of its comfort zone. And it's difficult for them to get their mind wrapped around sacrificing those comforts. And so they don't last. And so if you don't have the idea or the mentality or the mindset that you're just going to have to give something up to get what you want, you're not going to be successful. You have to have a mind of sacrifice. But once you decide that you're willing to make the sacrifices necessary, the next thing that you have to develop a wealth mindset is you're going to have to take some risks. You can't stay in the comfort zone. You can't play it safe all the time. You have to be willing to take risks, whether those are business risks, whether those are life risks, whether those are relationship risks. That's the only way that you make things happen. That's the only way that you get to the other side. You have to be willing to take a risk. You can't stay in the comfort zone. You cannot be both comfortable and productive at the same time. You know, I tell this story of when I was in law school, I didn't like to study. And so I would get all of my study notes and outlines and all of the things that I needed to study for the test, and I would set it up in the bed, and I would get in the bed, turn the TV on, get extremely comfortable, have all of my notes surrounded around me, ready to study and prepare. And in 10 minutes, I was knocked out asleep. And what I realized is that you cannot be both comfortable and productive at the same time. You cannot produce anything of value while you're stuck in a zone of comfort. And so there was no way that my mind could prepare itself for all of this stuff I had to learn when I was laying in the bed, watching TV, and all of my snacks right there at my disposal. And so instead of me studying in the bed, I had to change it up. And I had to go to a library in an isolated room where there's no distractions around, and turn my phone off and focus on what I needed to do. I had to take myself out of a comfort zone so that I could be uncomfortable enough to focus and concentrate. Because you cannot produce anything of value when you're comfortable. You have to be willing to take a risk and come out of your comfort zone. Whether that's your money in investing so that you can reap the benefits of compound interest and grow your wealth beyond your ability to work. Whether it's starting the business that you're scared to start, whether it's enrolling in a program to get the degree that you're scared to get, whatever it is that you are fearful about doing, the only way that you are going to reach success is to be willing to take that risk. That's the only way. And this is the thing. Most times when you take a risk, it's not as bad as you thought. It's not as bad as you thought. All of the fear was in your mind. But when you acted out in the world, God has already prepared you for it. So you have to be willing to take a risk. And the last thing that you need in a wealth mindset outside of sacrifice and risk is patience. Now that's hard for most people because we live in a microwave society. We live in a society where we don't want to wait for anything. We got to get the bag today. We have to get the resources now. We have to get everything that we want, need, and desire now. But that's a mistake because what happens is you get the results quick, but it don't taste the same. It don't feel the same. It don't look the same. Rich feels like wealth. Rich looks like wealth, but it don't feel like it. It appears to be, but it's not really is. And so when you are trying to train your mindset, you have to have enough patience to not fall for the quick hustle. You have to have enough patience not to go for the get rich quick scheme. You have to have enough patience to turn down opportunities that may benefit you in the short term, but they're going against your long-term vision and your purpose. So you got to have patience. See, there's a difference in putting food in the microwave and getting it out in 5 minutes. Yeah, it does the job. It gives you a meal. The ingredients are the same, but it don't taste the same. It doesn't nourish you the same as a home-cooked meal. It doesn't give you the same nutritional value, even if it's the same food as a home-cooked meal. Because the patience allows the heat to transform those ingredients into something that is nurturing for your body. And if you're not willing to go through that process, you're not going to get the results that you're looking for. You're going to get microwave results with a home-cooked expectation. And so my point in saying all of this is that we need to focus on how we think. We need to be willing to sacrifice. We need to be willing to take a risk, and we need to be willing to have patience. And those three ingredients will help develop your mind towards your purpose. Because you're going to be sacrificing stuff with the idea and the mindset that you're doing it towards something. You're going to be taking those risks with the idea and the mindset that you're doing it towards something. You're going to be patient and resilient and have enough resolve to know that you are waiting for what's already yours. And so in 2025, we are entering this year with the wealth mindset, and we're not taking no for an answer. My name is JD Garnier, and this is the Wealth Mindset.